Oh man, didn't even hike up that high, just from not even the river, and I'm out of breath. I realized that 4 weeks almost into this trip, and I haven't actually said why I'm here. If you've ever wondered what it's like to do grad school field research abroad in a country like Nepal, in a national park that's debatedly the most remote and restricted in the entire country, boy, do I have a tale for you. Hello. I am currently in Kathmandu. I've been here for about 3 weeks. You can hear all the scooters in the background. I'm feeling excited. I probably just had my last warm shower for a long time. A little bit nervous, not really knowing what to expect. Day 0, here we go. I hope you're ready for a huge adventure. I guess this is technically day 1. We left Nepal super early. I think our plane left at 6. Flew past all the mountains. I've never been so close to mountains in a plane before. And the runway, when you land, it's paved, but it drops very steep off both sides. And we took a Jeep for an hour, and the roads are so bumpy and not paved. And so when you go on the Jeep, it's like at a 100-foot drop, sorry mom, off to the side. Yeah, so that was cool. We met with the park staff, got all our permits approved, hiked for about, say, 2 hours to get to our first stop. And in case you're wondering what a hotel looks like on the way to Phoksundo Lake, I'm currently standing in my hotel room. So please, take a look. tired. Feeling a bit gross. Here's the bottom of my feet after I washed them. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Apparently it only gets harder and more remote. Yeah. Got scared by a dog going to the bathroom again. And the horses and everything spooks me. Anyway, day 4 done. So it ate a baby yak? Shey Phoksundo Lake. You might notice my hair is clean. Had a nice river shower, bath. I don't really know what to call it, but it feels so good. Day 11, I think. It's our last day at Phoksundo Lake. Taking in the last views of the lake before we head over our first 2 high passes to Dho Tarap. Sonam has shown me a couple snow leopard signs just up in the hills here. We found some scat, some more scratch marks, so that was pretty cool. Feeling good. We had popcorn as a snack, which is a little taste of home. And I lost my gloves. Well, I didn't even bring gloves. By mistake. As we went around the village, there's a couple stores here and I got these very cool gloves. Don't know what Team Panther is, but they say sport on them a lot. So hopefully I'll have warm hands for my trek. Anyways, super excited, drinking lots of water, a little nervous because we're going to be going over 5,000 meters and riding horses, but cautiously optimistic. Yeah, so next time I record, I'll be tent camping, see you in the mountains. Welcome to my tent. Please take the grand tour. Here's my bag, my sleeping bag, my backpack. You can probably hear it's raining outside. We're one day into our 3-day trek from Shey Phoksundo to Dho. We're at 3,900 feet. I feel pretty good. Drank 2 liters of water. But as you can probably hear, it's raining. It hailed on us and it rained. Then it was sunny. And now the rain just won't stop. But it was still a good day. We saw lots of blue sheep. We saw a herd of 26. And so many marmots. Way bigger than the marmots in Canada. These ones are almost like beaver size. And they were kind of scurrying all over the place. So yeah, here we are. It's cold. Tomorrow we go over our first 5,000 meter pass, and we think all of this rain is probably going to be snow. So we'll see how it goes. Day, I don't know what. My watch broke, the strap. So now the day doesn't matter. And the time of day doesn't matter. Which is fine. Time kind of loses its meaning out here. Anyways, today we had a crazy day, probably my favorite. We started at about 4,000 meters and went up over a pass. You can kind of see it. It's covered in snow, 5,200. The wind was howling. We were on horseback for 700 meter elevation gain. And we came all the way down in like blizzard conditions. But so beautiful. It really feels like we're in snow leopard habitat now. I'm tired today. We left high camp at about 8 in the morning. Hiked till lunchtime. Oh, I'm so tired. I hope I'm not sunburnt. And then we went over our second pass. It's the highest elevation I've ever been. It was over 5,200 meters. Clear skies too. I mean, a bit of clouds in the distance, but it meant we could see Mustang, the mountains that are east of Dolpo. So it was beautiful, clear skies. Definitely shout out to Fishtail. I linked the name of my horse. Could not have done it as fast without Fishtail. We're in Dho now. We're going to be here for a couple days. Yeah, let me show you around. I'm tired. I ate a Snickers bar today, my first chocolate bar. It tasted really good. Anyways, let me give you a 360 view of camp. Okay, hopefully you can see me. It is day 3 in Dho Tarap. Apparently this is the highest permanent settlement in the world. We're above 4,000 meters. And it's basically a desert climate. So I was gonna go through and show you all the layers that I brought with me. And you can probably see behind me how far the snow came down the valley. I swear yesterday it was so warm I was washing clothes in the morning, and then by night this whole place was frosty. It was snowing on us, so weather changes on a dime. But basically, have a really good base layer on, fleece, sort of a small downfill jacket, and then my windbreak. My probably favorite purchase that I'm so happy I bought in Kathmandu is this little reindeer buff. Keeps my neck nice and warm, my toque, and gloves. And with all of these layers, oh, and I have a base layer pant on top of my, below my trekking pants. So a lot of layers. I sleep in almost all of these layers too. Basically all of this to say, it is very cold here. So I've been thinking through my stuff and what I brought that I'm really happy I brought, and what I kind of wish I had have brought on this trip. So the first, I brought 2 Nalgenes, and this one's filled with hot water, tato pani in Nepali. And the good thing about having at least one, you feel the warmth, and I shove it in my sleeping bag at night. But I did wish that I brought a thermos, so that through the night and when I wake up in the morning, I still have hot water, versus 2 Nalgenes. This, whatever you call this, game changer. I love it. I bought it in Tamil. Keeps my neck so warm, so then I can use my second buff. Kind of like a headband. Keep my ears warm. What else? Oh, power bank. So I'm filming this on GoPro. On a GoPro. I have 2 spare batteries. Tiny little power bank. Because we haven't had power since Phoksundo. So all our time in Dho, all our time in Upper Dolpo, will be relying just on solar power. So we charge these. And so really happy I brought this. Also, Kobo. Perfect, because I don't have to use my headlamp at night. And I've been reading almost every night, and we're what, almost 3 weeks in? And I still have like half charge. So that's really good. Oh, one more thing. Literally always have this in my pocket. Lip balm. I don't even think about my chapped lips anymore, but put this on all the time.
आफ्नो घोडाले दिन राखे घोडाले भयो नि थप्पले जे हैन हाम्रो आफ्नो आफ्नै घोडा मेरो आफ्नो लन्च ब्रेकफास्ट हो
Oh, you're still eating. currently out scanning for snow leopards. Apparently evening and morning are the best time to spot them. And we're in Ringmo village, which is part of Saldang, Upper Mustang. So we're just keeping our eyes on the cliffs. We've seen a lot of scat, pug marks, so tracks, all along the river today. So they're definitely around. We had our third 5,000 meter pass, but Fishtail made it very easy. I rode him a lot today, almost so much or too much that I wished I was hiking because my legs were a little sore. But it meant that we got to get here a lot faster, so we can do some research in the morning and spend our evenings looking for snow leopards. But I know better than to expect to see one, but it's still kind of fun to be in a place where you can kind of feel their presence, even when you can't see them. Anyways, time to go look! All the way to Lhuri. It's going to be a long day. We have officially made it to Lhuri. It's the farthest north we're going on our trip. We're almost in Tibet, near the Tibetan plateau. But you can probably hear it's raining. We met up with Rodney Jackson and his crew, and someone told me that when he asked me how this was going, I said it's been an adventure, and he said that your whole life is an adventure, and where one ends and the other begins is determined when you walk into a bar and start telling a story about a time when you went on a great adventure, and that's how you differentiate one from the other. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Anyways, we're in Lhuri. There was a mass killing here, so it's going to be interesting to interview. Tomorrow, I'm pretty tired, but I also feel like each day I'm getting stronger. Like I've hit kind of cruise control, and I'm kind of embracing living in this tent. The food, the hiking, I mean 9-10 hour days don't really faze me the way they did at the start of the trip. It's one of the cool things I think about traveling, when you kind of hit that high and feel like you're just soaring. That's our mules. Anyways, talk to you tomorrow. just spent our first full day in Lhuri, which is where we are now. This is the farthest north we're going to go on this trip. Apparently it's a 1-day horse ride or 2-day walk to Tibet, just over a couple of these mountains here. Today, Sanjay told me that I should think of myself as this river. Not really sure I quite understand the analogy, but the idea is you've come from a lot of places, the same way the river has come from the tops of the mountains. You're on a journey meandering through the mountains, and no matter what, you're going to end up in the ocean, or in his words, you're going to end up where you're meant to be. Which is a little philosophical for me, but I kind of appreciate the sentiment. It was a good day. It's warm here. I think I might try to wash my hair tomorrow, but I care less and less about washing my hair the longer this trip goes on. Yeah, we met a big group from California. I'm still the youngest person by a good 40 years that I've met in terms of foreigners from Dolpo, but I get it, it's remote, it's expensive relatively, and also not many people know about it. Usually people that come here have trekked in other regions before, so I'm kind of unique and lucky, you know, lucky in that sense. So we have one more day here tomorrow. Oh, the sun's coming out. Makes me want to jump in this river. It's like crystal clear. Let me show you. I think it is, maybe I should go this way, hard to capture just how beautiful it is here. Look at the sun. It's been so cold for so long. It feels so good. So good. It's 5:30 in the morning. Kind of cold, but I really want to wash my hair. Enjoy. Give myself a brain freeze. Oh, man. The wrong trail. So our 1-hour hike turned into 2. So we had to go over all these crevices. But at least we made it. Oh, hiking at 4,000 meters. It's a lot harder than at sea level. There's a young man who is a herder, and he has a corral in a deep ravine we got to go see, where he keeps his livestock overnight. And him and his dad take turns sleeping next to the corral. He said one day his dad was sick. He was supposed to stay and guard the corral, but he had to come home. So the sun went out the next day. I went to the night corral, opened the door, and a snow leopard lunged over his head. He looked in his corral, and 97 goats and sheep had been killed by a single snow leopard in a single night. It's called a mass killing or a surplus killing. The snow leopard got in from the roof. It had been covered with branches, but it's able to kind of weasel its way in there. No one really knows what happens, but the snow leopard gets in, almost 100 livestock, it goes crazy, it kills all of them. Of course it can't even eat all that meat, it sucks the blood, but it was still in there when he showed up the next day. So when you think about someone like that, and you say we should conserve snow leopards, you know, it becomes a lot more complex. So our mules ran away last night. The way it works here is when we get to a campsite, they let the horses and the mules go. And then around 7 or 8, they bring them back to feed. And apparently last night our mule driver at 7 couldn't find them. And when we woke up this morning, we found out that he had walked all night and the mules had gone all the way to Kang La, which from where we are now in Namgung, it's, for a tourist like me, a 2-day trek to where those mules were. And he thinks that they were returning back to Ringmo because that's their home, so they have a really good sense of direction. Anyways, he found them, so he walked all night, they're back, and now our horses just started running away up the mountain. Some of the crazy realities of trekking here, doing fieldwork here. I feel gross after eating my Snickers. That makes me sad. feel a little bit closer to the rest of the universe. I realized that 4 weeks almost into this trip, and I haven't actually said why I'm here. I'm a grad student, Masters of Geography, looking at conflict between humans and wildlife. And here in Nepal, that conflict is between snow leopards and communities. It's pretty easy to sit at home in a place like Canada and say we should conserve snow leopards and be angry at the thought of people retaliating and killing snow leopards when you're not actually here, trying to coexist with them in your own backyard. So we've been doing surveys, about 100, and we're also mapping the locations of areas that snow leopards have killed livestock, because that's the main form of conflict here, livestock depredation. To give you a bit of context, Shey Phoksundo only became a national park not even 40 years ago. I mean, national parks are a pretty Western concept and model. So there's people here that we've spoken to that existed here before the park. And there's one community that said they've been here for about 400 years, fleeing Tibet from a famine and settling here. So 400 years of history and not even 40 years of a national park. And now there's rules. You can't harvest certain timber, you can't retaliate against local wildlife when they kill your livestock. It becomes a big challenge and question for coexistence.
One day, probably there's another 2 days. There's another village called Dho Tarap village in between.
That is yak dung. And as you can see, there's no trees here, so people actually burn this in their cook stoves as a source of fuel. So we'll see people collecting it, kind of storing it on their roofs and whatnot. Today we went to Shey Monastery. It's a really sacred monastery to the Buddhist culture here, located about an hour or two trek from where we are here in Shey at the herding site. It's perched on like this pretty sheer rock face with views of Crystal Mountain, which is a really sacred site. And we were told that the only people that are allowed to climb to the top have to circumnavigate Crystal Mountain 13 times, and then you're allowed to climb to the top. And from there you're able to see a pretty holy mountain, just the peak in Tibet, if you make it all the way to the top. You can appreciate the sacredness of that landscape. And we saw so many signs of snow leopards. So many scrapes, so many pug marks, scat, everywhere. So I can, from an ecological perspective, appreciate the cultural significance of the snow leopard and how monks protect, lamas protect the landscape and preach that to the rest of the community. It's part of the reason there's so much more vegetation here, because it's so close to this monastery. You're not allowed to harvest any of these sort of low-lying shrubs. I think something else that I've been thinking about is the monk said in cities we're so busy, we're so stressed, everything moves so quickly, and he's not the first that's told us that. And I don't mean to romanticize living in the mountains. It's tough here, tough to make a living, tough to make a livelihood. There's definitely something to be said about the sort of chaos of city life, and it's one of the reasons I love traveling to places like this. You get to, you know, slow down, disconnect from the outside world. I mean, I think it's been over 4 weeks. I have no idea what's going on in the rest of the world, and I kind of love that. Yesterday, we had a very cool encounter. We were heading to our final herding site, and in the distance I saw something running quickly across the landscape. We were really far away, but it was moving so fast. It was sort of this elongated, white, grayish shape with a black livestock ahead of it moving really quickly. And we were too far away. They both sort of disappeared behind a ridge. And, you know, above 4,000 meters, we're moving as fast as we can, which isn't very fast. But by the time we got there, whatever it was had disappeared. It reminds me of this part in Peter Matheson's book where he sees like this sort of brownish object that disappears behind a rock, and he thinks it could have been a Yeti. And, you know, he probably knows there's a bigger chance that it wasn't, but it kind of lingers with him that there's a small chance that it was. And I kind of relate that to that experience last night where, you know, we'll never know, and there's a bit of magic to that. But hold on to the possibility, you know, have a bit of faith that, you know, maybe it was. Maybe it was.
तपाईको सबै अब फिट्यो त्यहाँ मकै खाइरहेको फिट्यो
We're just gonna pretend that I didn't just prop this GoPro up on cow dung. How I've changed. Anyways. So it's my last night in Upper Dolpo and in Shey. It's a pretty magical place here. It's the meeting point of two rivers with Crystal Mountain in the backdrop. I hope you can see it. And we had a bit of a relaxing day, so I got to finish Peter Matheson's Snow Leopard. And I think different parts of the book will stick out for different people, but something I've been thinking about a lot out here is something that he describes in the book better than I could ever in words, but he says that in his regular life, in urban life, in city life, we focus so much on our past and our future and forget the present. And by the time we're thinking about enjoying the present, that present has already passed. And there's just one line where he has a chocolate bar that he's been saving the whole trip for his final pass. And he curses himself because it's just one more way that he's, again, only thinking about the future and not embracing the present. And I think it's kind of funny because not a chocolate bar, but I bought these energy chews in Canada and I've carried them with me this whole trip thinking, you know, maybe there's one day I'm gonna need it more than I do now. Always worrying about the future, and I think I'm prone to that in my regular life too, kind of the way he described it, always thinking about the future or the past, or, you know, never appreciating where you are at this exact moment. So I thought it would be great if I finally took out these dang energy chews and ate them. Sure, I might be more tired in the future. I probably was more tired in the past than now, but I think it will be, in its own way, a little symbolic of me finally appreciating and accepting and embracing the present. So, here it goes. I hope these are good. What was the point of bringing them all the way here if only for them to sit in my bag? Blueberry pomegranate. Not bad. Anyways, here's the present. I'm gonna turn around now and enjoy Crystal Mountain. And enjoy these energy chews. I'm not thinking about anything else. We're officially on the trail that the movie Caravan was shot. It's pretty steep. Went a little on horseback, but honestly, I think I'm happier to be walking. Look at this drop. relaxation in its own funny, little charming way. I think this is the last one of these entries that I'm gonna do. Whatever I call these. Daily updates of life trekking in Dolpo. So we've come full circle. Kind of reminds me of the saying that coming back to where you started is not the same as never leaving. And I kind of feel that here. You know, we're back in the same spot we were, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Again, I've lost track of time. But your perspective changes. Like when we were coming over the ridge on the eastern side of this lake and seeing Ringmo in the distance, it's crazy. It kind of felt a little bit like coming back home. Since I'm back at Phoksundo Lake, we only have 2 days trek back to the airport in Jufal. We're staying one night in Chepka, and then one night in Jufal will we catch the morning flight. And I've already filmed all of that coming here, and I feel like as much fun as it has been to film and take photographs, and how great it will be to share all of this with everyone back home. There's something special about putting the camera away for a little bit. So I think I'm going to do that for the rest of the trip here. I think by the time I'm back home and watching these, there's definitely going to be a part of me that misses being here and appreciates even more fully what this experience was. It's been crazy. Do I look any different? We were trying to guess if we lost weight or gained weight on this trip. We've been eating so well. 3 meals a day and a snack. And no mirrors. So it's hard to know. But I wonder if I put a picture of my face beside this face, if it looks any different. Maybe a little more sunburnt, cracked lips. But more comfortable and more at home now, for sure. And I wanted to give a final note on snow leopard conservation and community development that I've been thinking about a lot, because we're trying to think of and ask communities about solutions to this conflict, to livestock depredation. And I think if we start to think more broadly about the national park here, the communities here, the wildlife here, a lot of it comes down to livelihood improvement. I mean, the reason people retaliate and are so unhappy with snow leopards, well, some people are, is because they lose their livelihood. So one great way for maybe the handful of people that ever see this video that you can support both the communities and the snow leopard is through responsible tourism. So on our trip, everyone on our team is from the national park. They were born here, they live here. Our 2 research assistants, our head porter, our pony driver, our mule driver, and our cook, they're all local. And what I've noticed is the rest of the trekkers we've come across, few and far between, albeit, but their tour companies are from outside of Dolpo. And not to fault anyone or trekkers for being here, but you know, one way that communities could benefit from the wildlife here, from the national park, from snow leopards, is through tourists coming and supporting the local community. And one great way to do that is employing local people on your trek. But I guess what I'm saying is there's a way for there to be a win-win for both snow leopards and communities, getting away from this sort of story of conflict towards coexistence and even beyond coexistence. We were talking about symbiosis, where the communities are benefiting from the snow leopards and from the wildlife and from the national park, and the national park is also benefiting from the communities. So you can play a part in that. And if you're looking for a local tourism company, if you want to come here and track and experience this really magical place for yourself, I know a company. Our 2 research assistants. They're actually born and raised here in Ringmo, next to Phoksundo Lake. They're starting their own trekking company, snow leopard based trekking company. So a lot of it is going towards community development and snow leopard conservation. It's called the Snow Leopard Journeys. I'll put a link somewhere, maybe in the comments or something, or just across the bottom of the screen. It's run by 2 women, which I love, supporting conservation. They can act as your lead guides, pointing out all of the snow leopard signs, spotting blue sheep, purchasing all local supplies from the community, and yeah, really work towards snow leopard conservation and community development. And I've been thinking a little bit about my potential encounter with the snow leopard. I'm not sure if I saw the snow leopard, but I am positive that on this trip a snow leopard has seen me. That's pretty dang cool. Anyways, that's it. Signing off at Phoksundo Lake. Gonna embrace Peter Matheson's sentiment of living in the moment, being in the moment, and yeah, just enjoy my last 3 days in this little slice of paradise. Look at this water, it's so cool.